Hello and welcome back to the July 2020 community map. So what I'm planning to do for today is to extend the circuit production more. Generally speaking, just get more red and blue circuits. And so starting off, I was looking at what I could do with iron. So although it looks like it's backed up here, if you look at the ore, this isn't backed up at all. It's just there's some still stored in some of these furnaces, I think. Yeah, these ones here, you can see there's 100 stacks stored. That's going to get depleted eventually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the iron from here. And since I don't need that many gears all the time, it's kind of bursty, I'm going to feed the extra gears down into circuits. And this is evidently going to have to be expanded. So I look at this also, I can see I've got basically twice as much copper as I need. So with the extra iron and the copper already here, I'm going to try and build some more circuits over here. And then I can feed the new green circuits into more red circuits and into more blue circuits. So starting with this, so to redirect this, I think what I'm going to do is take this and then just redirect this way, but give the gears the output quality, and then this can essentially feed down here, something like that, and I'll make that the quality for input. And it's kind of unfortunate how that's laid out, but I'll just run the belt down, that shouldn't be a problem. So I haven't really done the maths yet, so what I'm going to do is just experiment. I'm going to try and do a 1-to-1 ratio. It's going to be quick to build and see how that works out. And it's just basically because it's quick to build, I want to get this going as quickly as possible. And then I can look at making a more finely tuned solution later. So that's going to be iron. This here will be circuits. And then, yeah, this one here can be copper actually. And then this doesn't need to be quite as far away. And then what's going to happen is it's going to be a belt like that to take from the circuits to the, or from the wires to the circuits. So while I was in the process of doing that, it came apparent to me I've got a power shortage, and actually this was starting to get depleted because as the miners got less power, then they mined less coal, and that became a bit of a cycle. So what I'm going to do is going to upgrade all this, and I think some of these could actually be fast belts. There's enough miners in the same way to support that. So I upgraded some of those belts, and let's go watch this. I might upgrade. I'm not sure at this point if 4 belts is enough. You can see there's where it's like really dried up. Yeah, the question is 4 belts enough for this many boilers? The downside of using basic belts here, although they were cheap at the time, it takes such a long time for this like coal to flow through. So I've got all the power plants working again now for the time being. But turn the power back on has brought me into immediate shortage. Hopefully this is going to be temporary as things like back up again. But I'm going to have to watch it to see what happens because now all the miners everywhere are going to run at full speed for a little bit of time. Then see like the copper was backed up, now it's not, and so forth. And it looks like it's got back to stabilization, so I'm still slightly short on power. You can see it pulsing. Now the average consumption has dropped off a little bit. The assembly machines and stuff cleared the backlog. It does look like this will be staying pretty powered, but also looks like actually no, this is not enough to keep all the boilers like going full time. You can see these here all going up pretty much full speed, and as I get down here there's possibly not enough coal. Also now I've finished that research, actually that's the last research I had planned, so that's going to save some power as well once all the research kind of stops. And I think the last quick thing I'm going to do is I noticed with that there's not enough iron over there. I'm going to run a second belt for iron, and I think I'm going to try and do is see how close I am to having nuclear ready. So this should have been going a little bit, it's up to 10 so far. It's taken a really long time to get this started. You can see there's like, yeah, so there's 10 spare 235. and there's literally thousands of stuff I don't want. So I'm basically waiting until this is finished doing its like initial startup. Maybe what I could do at the cost of using more power is if I took some of these speed beacons, and I could put some beacons on that. So I set the productivity to get the extra 235, but I'll just make it a bit faster. And okay, now I've got power. This does appear to be working fairly well. And it does look like there's probably enough copper wire being made to make that more or less one-to-one, so that's nice. So since nuclear is not quite ready yet, I think the quick solution is going to be to take this coal here and just build another power block over here right next to that coal. It's easier to run the power cable than it is to run belts for coal. So, I mean, I guess in hindsight I could have built that there. Although taking coal that way versus that way is not too different. But definitely in this case, run the power, not the coal. That completes 20 new boilers and 40 new steam engines. So if we look at the power production, you can see that just about where I was before in terms of actual usage. I was very borderline, but now there's quite a decent amount of extra possible production. I built way more coal miners than I need there, so as soon as I get some more steam engines and boilers, I'll be able to expand this if required. Back to the top of your production, so I think these inserters here, you can see the assembly machines are constantly stopping. I think I need stack inserters for these because they're the really fast half-second recipes, so I'm going to see how that goes. And then if that still doesn't work, I'll have to think up a new layout for these entirely, I think. Okay, so I think that's still not a good solution. So you can see the copper wire here keeps running out in this assembly machine, but this assembly machine here has got the maximum stack size in the output. So I can actually see the, I think this inserter here is backing up. So there's this one here, it can't take fast enough off of the belt. So I probably need is 2 inserters to take the copper wire, which are these. And I think to do that, I'm going to need to come up with a different layout. So I think power poles are my issue here. So if I want to put a second insert on each one of those, I have space. Except then where's this power pole moved to? There's nowhere for me to put it. And I'm not sure of a substation. Let's see if I can find one. So yeah, if I put a substation on the opposite side of the beacons, because if I move the beacons away they won't reach, then the substation doesn't reach either. What could be possible is to put it here, and then this will reach over to that side. Okay, so looking at this end one, the same problem is happening, it's not getting copper fast enough, and that's with 2 stack inserters there with 2 express underground belts. So I could try to do even more. The other possibility is just not to have this central reservation. It would halve the number of speed beacons, reducing the speed. Reduce the speed, it'll be easier to supply them. So that could be a possibility of what I'll do for the next set. For now I'm going to say I've got circuits, they are backing up now, so let's move on to the next problem. So to beacon the red circuits, yeah, I'm not quite sure what the ratio is going to work out as, so I'm going to try having 2 of these. They're going to be there essentially at the start. So copper only needs to come in this far. Probably that far actually, which I think means, yeah, I can just bridge straight under it if I need to with some other input. Maybe iron could go there. Not iron, plastic or circuits. So they would go there, then there'd be an output here. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think one of these is too many. I think I definitely need this one to be somehow side-loaded. And possibly an easier way of doing that if I have 2 specifically. That number works out quite well because I could just do this. And also you should always offset these so you get more speed beacons covering each assembly machine. And depending on how the speed works out in the end, I might get rid of this end one. Let's do that, it looks a bit neater. Well, maybe I'm not. Let's just do it this way. And yeah, I'm not sure on the numbers, so I'm just going to start with, let's go 12 to start with and see how that works out. All with productivity. Trying again with the correct module. which I do indeed have enough of. And the speed beacon need to go along there as well. Yeah, I think that one. The second row coming in here. So this is where I'm not quite sure of these. The challenge with the red circuit production is you need the 3 inputs to get the 1 output. And I think so. I'm fairly sure the copper cable needs a full belt. Doesn't really leave me somewhere to put the other belt. The alternative being if I only do one assembly machine of copper, if I do this, then I could probably have a mixed belt of copper and something else, say the red circuits. That could be an option. I'll give that a try, see how it works. And actually I'm going to take these circuits for this rather than put them up here. And I'm going to do plastic as well while I'm at it, but plastic will be a much simpler affair because I just need to have the 2 tiles and 2 tiles, I believe. And that I'm going to do down, I'll do it over here. It goes with the other ones. I'm running out of modules, however, which is really why I need these circuits. I need circuits to make more modules quickly. So plastic really is quite simple, but in the scheme of things never being as simple in the grand picture as I hoped, there's now not enough petroleum gas. So as you can see, these are diffused up the reserve very quickly and are now stopping. So that's another thing to expand. Let's see how it's going. So I've still got loads of crude. So the reason why you see gas there is just the way that like pressure is dealt with. Because that pipe is quite long, I need to have a large amount here, or otherwise it's just not going to get pushed down this pipe, but essentially. And I could rectify that by having some pumps installed. But first I'm going to see if it's actually running at capacity. So these aren't all running, but there's not enough light oil. There's not enough heavy oil, so essentially there's just no refined oil. These look like they are all running. I don't know why I built that precisely there, that would have been better off. Do the side somewhere. And let's see if I can build a bunch more of these. Can't quite get 6 more, okay, let's try for 5 more. This should just tile on the end, looks like it does. So it's not going to be a massive improvement. I could possibly build a second set. I also need to build the refineries themselves. I need to get stone bricks for. I should have some stone bricks in storage somewhere, so at least that bit will be simple. It'll take a bit of time to get this sorted. Meanwhile, the second obvious mistake I made is these needed to insert onto the other side of the belt. Because what I've ended up with is mixed red circuits and copper wire on the same side, and then it blocked at the splitter here. Let's go to that and then dump that into there. So the question is this running at full speed? Maybe just. Now you can see it's like hitting a limit, then it's all stopping. So I can answer the question though, one of these is more than full side of a belt. And actually they're not needed at all. Maybe I can go to those as well. If this is running so fast it stops, then I might as well just have less beacons. Okay, that's looking like it's running at more like full speed. And then what's that getting me? I think it's getting me, maybe 5. The 6th one keeps stopping. So let's go to these and then see where I'm at. I also got rid of the power. That was not intentional. And I do still need power for beacons over there, but only that many of them. Let's just reclaim some resources. Okay, so the red circuits are backed up, which means this is now a useless experiment for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the belt all the way, because I think it's this basic belt here that is the issue. And in fact, it looks like this whole thing's backed up. I could balance the 2 sides of this belt, but what I'm going to do first is upgrade it all to express belt. I should have plenty of resources now not to worry about whether I'm using the cheapest belt or not. And those stone bricks I wanted, turns out I didn't have a inserter for them or chest for them, so I'm going to put them in a box here. And 1 stack is probably enough for my purposes. So now because it's running at full speed, it does look like I got about the right ratio here on the copper wire to circuit assemblers. See that this here is just about never stopping. So what I'm going to see about doing is see if I can build another copy of this down at the end over there. So that would look like, see if a space, that leave space? I think it does if I just move around. So that won't be there anymore, it'll be down there. I think that does work. Catch that before it goes somewhere I don't want it to. So what I'm going to do is put the filter down here again. Right side will be on, or right side only for red circuits. Over here. Then this can continue on and I'll side load the stuff. And this can come under there. And then what I should have space to do is to run the copper along here, like that. And then I'll put it in on there. And I'll see what this looks like. I think that's looking pretty good. And what I'm going to do now to just increase production, I was going to copy this whole thing and build a second one. So that's going to go here. So I'm going to reuse this central set of beacons, which will save, well, save beacons, will save modules, and it will save power. So then I'm going to side load to get to, I'll get very nearly a complete express belt, which I think I'll be happy with. And now I've got that one, I'm going to start retiring this original one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the inputs or materials, just so I get a little bit less like sitting around on the belt lines. And then I'm just going to get rid of this whole thing. And I might be able to, not sure if I'm going to move that, or probably could have done with building it a little bit further west. But then I'm going to rebuild this as well eventually. Then the offshoot of that should be that I can not have these green, well, these green circuits here are now not being used for that because these are using these green circuits. So I'm going to divert all those green circuits into a second set of blue circuits, along with all the extra bread I produced. That should give a decent production upshoot there. And this was all just basic belt anyway, so I shouldn't have a problem with upgrading this to be something faster. Okay, so a bit of an oversight there. I needed to build the opposite because I forgot the sulfuric acid pipe here. So I was going to pick all this up, and I'll deal with those circuits and stuff I just took over there later. So to build the opposite, I just need to flip this around basically. Leave the space here. So then there'll be space here for a pipe. That's the basic idea. And actually, while watching this, I can see that you can see here it's not getting enough green circuits. So I think these decisions are to give them a second inserter each, but the power doesn't reach. Okay, let's see if a stack inserter can do the job. Needs to get up to 20 before that's finished. No, stack inserter is not enough. More redesigns. So this will be back to the problem I had before. Where to put the power pole. So one option could be to do that, and the power pole can go there. I'd have to do it for every 2, I think. Maybe not everyone. Let's try it out. Yeah, like that. So then that can be a normal one. And then does this now get enough? Get to 20. Looks like it's perfect. Yeah, that's now enough. And I'll need to upgrade, do the same on this mirrored one I'm doing. I'll upgrade the rest of these as well. So the other interesting thing that comes from that is there's only actually enough green circuits on Express Belt, it turns out, to run 4 of these. So what that means is actually I'm not going to increase the number of assemblers, but since I'm going to be fixing that deficiency, then I'll be increasing the overall production capacity. So upgrade completed, so I now have 2 sets of 4, so 8 in total. And let's just take a look at the production statistics to see where I am on that. So if I'm searching for, let's just look at circuits, they're the main thing of interest. Of course they want process units, don't they? Why can't I just call them blue circuits or something? Here we go. So what are these doing for the past 10 minutes? So I was building about 150 or so, and looks like my stable amount's going to be around 250. So that's where it's going. At peak was where I was changing stuff around, I think. It looks like it's definitely going to be stabilising somewhat higher. And in fact, the limitation is again the green circuits. So this is going to be a bit of back and forth, I think, for a little bit. But I can also now just get rid of this entirely. And hopefully I have enough storage space for all this stuff. And it looks like with the extra speed boost, this has finally started getting some 235 in reasonable quantities. So I think next time we'll be looking at nuclear. I don't really want to do it tonight, but that is everything ready to go now. Looking at this, is apparent that I'm getting a lot more circuit production than fits on one side of the belt, so that's nice. So what I'm going to try and do is split it so it's 3 and 3. And now I should have 2 sides of the belt that are full. Because of the productivity module, actually, to get one full output of green circuits will not require a complete belt of iron or a complete belt of copper. So that's one of the problems you have. If you try and get the belts to be completely packed, the ratios don't line up, especially once you throw in productivity. And you can do it, but it's a lot more like spreadsheet work than I tend to be interested in personally. Although that said, it is evident here, that is just not enough copper. There's lots of gaps on that belt. And really that's because I'm tapping off more copper. So I've got enough furnaces here for 4 belts of copper with fast belts, so here. But I'm tapping off a load here for red circuits. And this is actually an express belt, not a fast belt. And I'm not going to solve that problem tonight. That's going to be another major undertaking. I think there's enough copper here to do it, and there's this patch here as well to add to it, and then there's this patch here. There's plenty of copper around. So you can see there's even more over there. But before I expand this furnaces, I do want to go to electric furnaces for beacons. What I am going to do, however, is just stop using these old ones here without the beacons. So I'm just going to stop the copper going into it entirely, and then I'm going to rip it all up. And what I'll do is I'll build a couple more of these over here, maybe 2 more. And I think if I got this right, it should be a tileable design. Also, why are those gaps larger than I think they should be? Maybe I need an extra. So I can see this is getting filled up. Maybe I needed a second inserter to remove it. It's also very hard to put items onto a belt that's fully packed. The easiest way to do it would be to have 2 belts and then have a splitter to merge them. But I don't think I've got enough space here to really do that. Let's see if this does in fact tile or not. Looks like I have got it to tile perfectly. That's nice. So that's 2 more of those, and I can whip all of this up. So I'm not going to be... It's going to be a while now before I need new assembly machines, I guess, because basically I'm replacing a very large number of assembly machines with a comparatively small number. Because each one of these is 340% crafting speed. So that's essentially 3.4 times in terms of crafting speed, but it's also 40% efficiency. Or productivity as the game calls it. So that's 5 times less or something. It's quite a lot less. I think that's it for circuits upgrades for now. So I've replaced green circuits that are here with these 3 little things just here. And they're all basically backed up, although these belts are running at very nearly the maximum speed they can. So that's good to see. This one a little bit less so. And this is because I'm not quite using up all the red circuits that I'm producing. I have now got a surplus of red circuits. That's nice. This is pending teardown destruction. I'm about to run into a disaster because I broke the plumbing. Yeah, so that's a bit unfortunate. So that's going to ruin the statistics. But well, I've got this many blue circuits now, however many that many is. And so that's pretty much exclusively pouring into module production. And as you can see, it's still not actually really quite enough. And it's starting to get these going, but this isn't backing up anytime soon right now. It might back up eventually. But then to get enough modules, maybe I want to build like double this as well. And you can see a lot of these down here are stalled because of the tier 3s and tier 2s not being ready. However, if you do look at the production figures for modules, so production items, let's put in module, do it over the past 10 minutes or so. Maybe past an hour because I want to look at a long range of points. So this is what I was doing before, so the question is going to be, does this tick up? I think the answer is going to be yes, because you can see the tier 2 modules have now ticked up to a record high. So eventually that will filter through to the tier 3s. See, historically have been about there, while tier 2 has been a little bit low. Tier 2 fluctuates a lot, it's more directly impacted by circuit production. And in fact, having let the game run for a little bit so that the production could flow through, this is now probably the first time since I really had this base running that all 3 of the tier 3 modules for productivity and all 3 of the tier 3 modules for speed are running at the same time. I've still not really got any surplus, they're getting used up as quickly as possible. I've got lots of junk in here, but basically at the moment they're still stocking up my personal surplus. That's really low because I used up most of my stockpile building this stuff. But I think that's going to have to be it for today. Next time is possibly going to be more of the same line of stuff, expanding production. Definitely going to get nuclear done next time because power is very low. But also I have now got a lot of 235 while I've been messing about with this stuff. And I think nuclear there looks quite good. But that'll be a big project for next time. So be sure to look out for that.